Look at this, there's a spider on that. Call to order, Town of North Branford, Water Pollution Control Authority and regular Town Council meeting, North Branford, Connecticut, Tuesday, February 7th, 2023, at 7:12 p.m. We will start with a salute to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okey-dokey. Welcome, everyone. Nice to see some heads in the council chambers today. Michelle, if you'd provide roll call, please.
Mayor McMillan?
Present.
Deputy Mayor Zampano?
Here.
Councilor Abelson?
Here.
Councilor Angeloni?
Here.
Councilor Diamond?
Here.
Councilor Gold?
Here.
Councilor Mace?
Here.
Councilor Palomino?
Here.
And Councilor Felicia.
Okay, thank you. All right, item 2, minutes of the previous meeting. I will accept a motion for January 17th, 2023, regular town council meeting, please.
So moved.
Motion by Councilor Diamond. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Zampano. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay.
Abstain.
Thank you. Okay, on to our Water Pollution Control Authority agenda. Item 3, correspondences and statements. Are there any? Seeing none, we will move on to item 4, unfinished business, and there is none in that category as well. Item 5, new business. Seeing none. On to item 6, citizen statements and petitions once again. Seeing none, we will move on to the regular town council meeting. Just note that we do have on our agenda this evening at 7:30 p.m. a public hearing for proposed ordinance 2023-1, amendment chapter 213 of the Code of North Branford entitled Taxation. So we will pause around that time to have that public hearing. Okay. Mike, do you think, start off with your report, town manager report? I'm sorry, item 3, correspondence and citizen statements. Are there any?
No,
Start the
we're
meeting?
on 7.
You're right, I'm on 7. I got myself all backwards. Haven't done my check marks today.
I'm pretty sure I can keep it under 13 minutes before here.
Okay, well, I would hope so. You never know, we can get long-winded.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. You may have already heard that Spark Cycle Works has relocated from Branford to North Branford on Commerce Drive. Back in October, I was contacted by State Senator Christine Cohn regarding Spark Cycle Works. They were suddenly notified they were being evicted from their old location in Branford and needed to relocate quickly. I reached out right away to the owner, Matt, and we assisted by providing available locations. That was Victor Benny, actually, that I dispatched over there to work with them and find some locations that could fit their needs here in town. And one of those is the site on Commerce Drive that they ultimately elected to choose, and now I'm pleased to say they're here. Spark Cycle Works is an innovative electric bike and moped manufacturer founded in 2018. And you can learn more about them and their products at sparkcycleworks.com. The Assessor's Office has completed the 2022 Grand List in accordance with Connecticut General Statutes, Section 12-55, and filed it with the Town Clerk's Office on January 26th. Copy of the Assessor's Report, as well as an analysis from Finance, is in each of your folders this evening. The gross Grand List is increased by $24,702,349, or 1.76%. with property tax exemptions increasing by $1,028,883, or 3.13%, resulting in net grand list increases of $23,673,466, or 1.72%. Under the current mill rate, this revenue increase is equivalent to $777,300. The town budget process remains underway. Town departments will be submitting their proposed departmental budgets to me and the Finance Director by close of business Friday the 17th. We'll be conducting our budget meetings with town departments the following week, and the council has before it tonight, later on in your agenda, the proposed schedule for council sessions on the budget this year. Shoreline Chamber of Commerce will hold its annual awards and breakfast meeting on Tuesday, February 21st at Woodwinds in Branford. Governor Ned Lamont will be the featured speaker, and North Branford's own Andy Pizzuto will be receiving the Community Partner Hometown Hero Award, and Totucket TV will be receiving Nonprofit of the Year Award. I I don't think that Totucket TV knows that. Don't tell anyone. Mayor McMillan and I will be there to present citations on behalf of the town of North Branford, recognizing their achievements. We've begun to advertise for the new assistant town manager position, which was approved by the council at your last meeting, and we've begun to receive applicants. My time frame for hiring remains targeted at the April 1st start date for the selected candidate. We remain on target developing the town's new website, which we believe will now be unveiled in March of this year. The council may recall that roughly $8,000 was appropriated previously for the administration of the town's website, and I'm pleased to announce that Jess Cave, who currently works in Park and Recreation and is a superb digital and graphic artist with CMS knowledge, has accepted the position of the town's webmaster. She's already begun to join our working sessions, and we look forward to her overseeing the administration of the page once it's up. The North Branford Police Department continues to conduct their annual diaper drive in conjunction with Bare Necessities Incorporated and area police departments in Clinton, Madison, Guilford, East Haven, Branford, and State Police Troop F in Westbrook, which began February 1st and will last through February 15th. Residents wishing to assist can drop off new diapers to those in need at the police department headquarters. Sizes 4 through 6 are the most in demand, and financial and Amazon wish list contributions could be made as well. Just check out the police department's Facebook page for more details. Our senior center is currently running a Sweets for Your Sweet fundraiser, offering 3 fresh baked chocolate chip cookies with a personalized note for $5 for pickup and $7 for delivery, limited to Northford and North Branford addresses. You can register for delivery on either Monday, February 13th or Tuesday, February 14th. Registration must be done by February 12th at nbrecreation.com. In observance of President's Day, town offices will be closed on Monday, February 20th. This is not a trash holiday, so it does not impact the regular refuse and recycling collection that week. February 2nd marked Groundhog Day, and I did want it noted that Totucket Todd, the groundhog and or beaver-like animal that lives in my backyard, saw his shadow, so we'll be getting an early spring, and I know you're all happy about that.
No, we appreciate that.
You're welcome. Finally, on a personal note, I did want to thank all the members of the town council as well as staff here in town hall, including the police department, fire department, public works, just to name a few, for their support and expressions of sympathy on the passing of my father last week. It truly means a great deal to me and my family. That concludes my general updates.
Thank you, sir. All right, on to item B, Permanent Project Building Committee.
I'll give you my quick rundown, and of course, we have our guests this evening, Dave Palumbo and Al Rose from the Permanent Project Building Committee, who will supplement what I have to offer you. But Stanley T. Williams Community and Senior Center, the recommended award to the low bidder Silktown Roofing is on your agenda this evening. The North Branford Police Department EOC, the contract start date of February 1st was established, and anticipated completion is April 30th of 2024. Commissioning agent RFP is on the council's agenda this evening, submitted for your approval, and we are tentatively setting Monday, February 27th at 10 o'clock in the morning for the official groundbreaking ceremony, but that has yet to be confirmed, and as soon as we have that confirmed, the council will be notified, as well as the media and other dignitaries. North Branford Intermediate School plans are being updated for a February advertisement. And the North Branford High School, a mid-February move is still scheduled pending the temporary certificate of occupancy. We are awaiting a letter from Gilbane indicating that they believe they've achieved substantial completion of the project to initiate that process. The Phase 1 punch list items are being accumulated. Furniture has been delivered and installed. That concludes my portion of the report. Happy to bring you guys up if you want to offer anything additional.
Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
How are you all? Thank you.
You guys are getting smart. You give us 4 minutes.
That's right. And since the town manager's done most of it for us, there's not much to add. We were at a punch list walkthrough on Monday. We spent about 5-6 hours there. And as the town manager said, it's really in the hands of Rusty from QA&M, the building official, fire chief, police chief, sign off.
I think the health department, they said, did sign off.
They did sign off
So
on
I
the
think
kitchen.
They're good with East Shore Health.
Right, first shot out the gate, right, that was good. Yeah, the PD, we're on target, they're gonna mobilize, next week, we're gonna have a meeting with them Monday, they'll be coming to our meeting, next Monday again. On the 14th, we'll have a kickoff at the PD for just informational, exchanging phone numbers, who to contact, you know, basic information for Newfield, as well as, you know, Mike will be there for town manager, you know, basic information, really. And then, as Mike said, groundbreaking is the 27th tentatively. And you have the bids that we did talk, oh, thank you to Rose, Marie, and Ron Policio for coming through the walkthrough with us a couple of weeks back. And then if anybody else at the council level wants to take an opportunity, please call Al or myself. We'll be happy to set it up for anybody that wants to do that in the meantime. But the date is yet to be determined. It's Rusty will be back. He's on vacation. He'll be back on Monday. We will have a better handle then where we're at. So, and you do have the bids and where we're at with Silktown, as Mike said. It's in your hands now. And I believe we are going with the base bid at this point, correct?
That's what's on the agenda.
Yeah.
I just have a question on the high school.
Yes.
So have they cleaned it up any better than what it was on our walkthrough?
Not yet,
No.
but they are bringing in the post-construction cleaning company again. I mean,
Well,
that's,
supposedly that was already done, at least
so
on the
it
third
was,
floor.
but it was done by,
Prematurely.
yeah, it was done out of order.
Yeah.
Okay,
So when we went through Monday, every desk, every room, every wall, you know, you put your hand on it and it's dusty. So,
From the lights on down.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they're well aware of that, and they're telling us, we've told John Florio that we have his back on, you know, if he's not happy with how clean it is, then neither are we. So he knows what he expects to get handed, and I think we got that, you know, across to Gilbane that, you know, they
And the
say,
support of the-
they're,
And the support of the superintendent is
Right.
well on board with us. He came to our meeting Monday.
they
night.
claim they're coming in and starting up top with four people to go into a room and clean it.
Do you feel it'll be conditioned, though, at that time period? We'll have enough time?
What's that?
It'll be conditioned?
So, I mean, they have a few places, so we did the top two floors on Monday, and there's still, you know, still just like any construction project, there's still blowout patches in the wall that are being taped and sanded. And the workers that are told to go in and sand the wall, some of them don't, most of them that we see over there, they don't put plastic on the floor, they don't have a vacuum attached to their sander, and so there's, in the rooms they're working in, there's white sheetrock dust everywhere.
Yeah.
And those, the second and third floor, they told us we're ready for a punch list and no other work's being done, but, you know,
So we were gonna go on
Thursday.
tomorrow, right? No,
Thursday we
We
were
were
gonna
supposed to
go,
go for our second, because they wanted to give us an hour for the punch list, and so we booked 2 days. And, that got canceled, right?
We canceled that until Monday when Rusty's back because of the extensive.
They weren't
amount.
ready.
Yeah.
They had 50 guys working on the first floor on Monday.
All glasses in at this point?
There's glasses
They're
in
working
for
on it.
the most part. There's
And
some
there's some broken
broken
windows.
windows that they have to replace.
But nothing is open to the elements, right?
No.
Okay, and we feel
It
that.
actually, well, when we were
Conditioned the
there
way of humidity?
with Rose and Marie, it was right after that,
Oh, that's
one of our big rainstorms.
Right.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find a drop of water
Well,
in the
that's
We
building.
scoured the building. Yeah, so
Um,
the building's.
Up in the attic and
But
everywhere.
there's quite an extensive punch list from what QA&M Rusty gave us and CSG, and then, there was 5 of us there, and we added to it. So there's a substantial list. There's 12 or 1,500 items.
Yeah.
I think there was 1,200 before we got there, and we probably added 300 or 400. So there could be 1,600 items. Some of them are pending, some of them are wrapping up, some aren't, some are, you know, things that definitely have to be addressed, but
Yeah.
the cleanliness is a problem.
Out of the 12 to, and it's probably closer to 1,500,
1,500, yeah.
probably, you know, taking an educated guess, you know, 1,450 or 60 are cosmetic.
Cosmetic, yeah.
They, you know, the things that are life safety that'll hold them up, you know, they're probably down to 25
Yeah.
items that they need to address. And then, you know, and the attorney the other night explained the process of how it gets approved and accepted. So basically, you know, we can be in charge of the cosmetic, but we're not the building official, and we have no say in that. If the building
Yeah.
official signs off on it, I will back him,
Right.
because he knows what he's doing,
And Rusty has to have substantial completion before he'll sign off.
right,
So
so.
there's kind of a process that the lawyer gave us a pretty good education on. You know, we can't say,
And the
We're
process
gonna move in.
hasn't started yet.
right,
It starts with a letter from Gilbane saying that they feel they're substantially complete.
Mhm.
And then the architect the design team has 10 days to respond to that. So things would have to really move fast to start moving in next Wednesday.
Do you feel that, and I know it was a point of concern that we had the ear systems and everything in kind of late. Do you feel that it's been balanced at this point, that it's had enough time for it to?
they have some
settle?
issues with
Yeah.
balancing and the mechanical end of it.
Yeah.
You know, we went in rooms that said 72 degrees and other rooms that were 72, they were way off. I mean, there was boiling in one room, cool in
Cold.
another one, comfortable in another one, and they have to address it.
And they claimed that's set up. It hadn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, you know, some of the commissioning stuff has happened, but the final has not happened, so.
If I could say, I really want to commend you guys. I was so impressed with your knowledge base and the time that you're spending there.
Yeah.
I personally feel like Rose, I was kind of shocked at how dirty everything was.
Yeah.
Even, I don't understand why, like, the furniture in the hallway, why wasn't it covered with plastic?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot.
And you
but
guys
I-
saw that probably the cleanest it's probably been in a while, and it's still
but
filthy.
I just want to say that you got, your knowledge base and the time you spend is phenomenal. And I think once everything's fixed and cleaned, that is going to be an absolutely beautiful high school.
It
And I
is, you
hope
know
that
what?
the kids
When
are
you
going to
walk in the
appreciate
foyer
it. I
now,
think it's
it's-
gonna be
Yeah.
beautiful.
It is a
They have-
beautiful
They
school.
have those really cool columns
Columns, yeah.
uncovered now, and, you
Yeah.
know, and they're beautiful.
It will be, I'm gonna tell you, yeah, I mean, we just talked about it, I think the other night about Al and I were like, Gilbane's a machine, and they're gonna push as hard as they can push. to
Yeah,
do what
they
gotta do.
head for the deadline.
Right.
Of course.
But in reality, we have our constraints, and we have to wait on building officials and Rusty, but it'll be a beautiful school. when it's done. I mean, I look forward to moving into the next phase whenever we get in, whether it's in a week, or it's in 3 weeks, or it's in 3 months. That'll be yet to be determined. We'll give you guys an update, probably after next week.
And then the other thing that, hits you guys, the taxpayer's pocketbook,
Yeah.
which goes through you, is, we are not gonna request a delay,
Right.
okay? So, and as a committee, we've had debates about that, but, that's not up to us.
Right.
And Gilbane, as their machine, they're looking for one of us to say, hey, let's delay it.
Right.
And we know what they get a month for operating
delays.
over there, like $300,000 or something. So, that's not gonna be on us. If they meet all the life safety and the fire and police and the building official sign off on it, and it's clean. And I have to say, the design team, Rusty is definitely looking out for the town of
For the
North
town,
Branford.
right. He's on our side,
And-
100%.
And he's the one that, he has a lot more say than we do.
Yeah, he's
on
got all the say, really.
Whether it's ready to move into or
Right.
not.
Mhm.
And he has, in the last month, he's really been playing hardball with them.
He's
So
gone to
it's
head to
good to
head.
see.
Head to head, he's had some pretty good battles with Gilbane,
So,
that he shared with us, and no reason to share it with you folks, but yeah, he goes to bat for us in this town. He is on our side on this permanent project committee, 150%. He gets a lot of feedback and a lot of blowback from Gilbane, but he holds his ground. He really does. He was a great choice to pick for us. Every meeting he's at, he's on his walkthroughs, he shows up, everything, and he said it last night, especially on this project, everything has to go through him from his staff, everything, because he
Good.
not trust Gilbane, but, you know, gets a lot of blowback, so, real good.
So one thing.
Rose, I remember, it's 7:31, so we have to go quick on this, I
Yeah,
apologize.
no, it's just a
Okay.
comment. So when we did the walkthrough, one thing that was told, and I just want to confirm this, and I think this is what you've said, is that
Have to.
on the temporary certificate of occupancy, that if all of the life safety measures have been met, and there still may be punch list items
course, yeah,
out
yeah,
there,
there'll be punch
but
lists.
as long as the life safety issues have been resolved, that you
We-
can't withhold
Can't
a
withhold it.
a
If we withhold
temporary.
it,
a-
we're gonna pay,
We're gonna
we're
pay.
gonna pay a
Okay.
We
delay.
said if the building is.
And it'll be huge.
Building official,
Okay.
fire chief, police chief, and Rusty from QA&M have met all that, we can't hold them up, and we won't.
Okay.
Punch list items could go on for,
Sometime. But
3,
we
4
still have
months.
them here, we're still building another phase of the school.
yeah, so.
I reiterate what Counselor Diamond said, we are so blessed to have your team, and you guys have done a great job. We thank you for it.
You know, unfortunately, we look forward to it every Monday night.
I know you do. We appreciate
And
it.
Michael, thank you. He helps us immensely, so.
Okay, we're a little behind here, we're at 7:32, but it's not too far off. We're gonna pause the regular scheduled meeting for a moment here and go into the public hearing. So we're going to 7:30 public hearing, proposed ordinance of 2023-1 amends chapter 213 of the Code of North Branford entitled Taxation.
I think we have to read the
We
notice.
was gonna say, we're gonna ask you to do that if you wouldn't mind. Do you have the notification
Yep.
in front of you? Rose, if you would, read the notification that was printed and published.
Okay, so the notice of public hearing, the North Branford Town Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February 7th, 2023 at 7:30 PM in the North Branford Town Hall Council Chambers. The purpose of the public hearing will be to hear comments on proposed ordinance 2023-1, which amends Chapter 213 of the Code of the Town of North Branford entitled Taxation as summarized below. Increase the qualifying income threshold from $42,500 to $50,000 for individuals and from $52,500 to $61,000 for joint filers. Gradually increase the $300 tax credit to $400 in July 2023, $500 in July 2025, and $600 in July 2027. A copy of the proposed ordinance is on file in the office of the town clerk and posted on the town's website. Dated at North Branford, Connecticut, this 18th day of January 2023, Lisa Valenti, MMC, North Branford Town Clerk. Email public comments to public-comments@townofnorthbranfordct.com. Publication date was February 2nd, 2023 in the Sound.
Okay, so we'll open the floor to citizens that want to come up and be heard. Please, when you do come up, state your name, your residence, and we're going to try to keep it to, a respectable semblance of time.
Is that because of me?
Nah, well, mostly because of you, Bill, mostly because of you.
Hey,
We
that's
talked
an
about
honor.
it earlier, we said, Bill,
That's an honor.
you
Thank you.
know, but no, I'm kidding, no. Just,
You're into my
lots of-
time now, wait a minute. Bill Savastano, Sunnyside Drive. Thanks for holding the hearing. So I'm here tonight. In November, we had some discussion about a taxation and what we could do for our vulnerable seniors. And at that point, Mr. Ambrose had made at the January 17th meeting, you got some information on how the impact of increasing the credit would impact the taxes. So from that, there is a handout at your station, and there's the one from the 17th of January. And down the bottom, just looking at the numbers on the first one, it says 37,020. Now, if you divide that by $300, that's 120 people. So I gotta ask Mr. Ambrose, is that the average 120 people applicants that use it?
Normally, on an annual basis, probably 20, yes.
Okay, so we got a number. From going forward, I'd just like to use the number of 150, in case we, to do something with this, let's go to 150. Now, okay, if you go to side B now, this was a thing that, because you asked Mr. Ambrose to get some information from different towns as to what they do. So side B is what he gathered from other towns. Now, I know the people that sat at the meeting, Anthony and Mike and the two attorneys and Mr. Ambrose, they all saw this, but the council didn't see it. And my only point there is, the council was the one that asked for this, so did the council see any of this before tonight? So you didn't see any comparisons to other towns? Okay, so, thank you.
Some knowledge of this.
So as far as the towns are concerned, now, we could talk endlessly about that, but just a couple of points. Now, every town is a little different, size, obviously budget-wise, and everything. So, and I looked some of these up, it's easy to Google these things. And from what I found is two things. One is, what's the formula for the taxation? On our ordinance, it doesn't say how you derive at the 100,000. But what I found on a couple of these ordinances, reading them, there is some sort of a formula that towns use. It's 0.5% of, it's 0.5% of the total of the budgets. So in our town, our total budget is around 50 million, right? So half of that, 1% of that is 500,000, and a half of that is 250,000. So I'm saying maybe our cap should be at 250,000. Any other thing is, now, as far as the credits, if you look into those few numbers there, we're not too far off. We're a little bit behind on some people, maybe ahead on somebody else. But note a couple of items on the right side that I circled, where there's a 550 cap and a 700 cap. That's a little different. That's 700, I guess, per person or per resident. Okay, I also told you at the November meeting, I watch other towns, and I compared, I had some information about the Guilford and what they do at their finance company meetings. Now, that's presented there, and Guilford is basically a freeze. Now, it's obviously different from what we got, and the parameters set up on that are a little different. And as you can see, from the first 4 years, the people with a 27K, this is the thresholds, at the 36. And the important thing, what I got out of the meeting was that, the graduation of the years, using the sliding scale as far as the years, was really beneficial to the residents. And I mention that because if you see the fourth one, it says anyone over 20 years in town, they have a threshold of 75 grand up to 90 grand. I mean, I'm not asking for that, but that's pretty good. And I have to tell you, on the 17th, the last council meeting you had, the same day they had their finance committee. It's on YouTube, and it's pretty interesting, obviously seeing anything that's going on rather than listen to minutes or read minutes. And so down below, I reviewed that in their ordinance, they do have a statement in there that says they review that every year. And I found that that was on quite a few ordinances. I mean, those other towns that I read there. So it's on the agenda once a year in January. And believe it or not, and it's probably because of that over 20 years there, you have 700 to 800 people, participants, compared to our 120, because we got a bigger town. But that's how many people participate in the program. And they actually got a cap of $1 million. Now, they got a $109 million budget. We got half of that. So basically, we're, again, can't compare towns. You gotta go by the budgets and the. But at this point, I want to say, 2.5 years ago, when it was voted upon, and I know Tom will remember, and Walter, when we voted on doing these projects, at that same meeting, I stood up, I says, we got to do something for the vulnerable seniors. Mayor Bob was here at the time. He was the only one that said anything. And he said, you're right, Bill. And I've mentioned this a few times. And I got to say that going back to side A there, this whole comparison or how you laid out going from 300 to 600, not acceptable with me. I'm here to say, starting in July, we go right to 600, with the goal is to go to 800. Because, again, probably around a year ago, maybe a little over, it was finally got a lot of numbers. When you guys voted on those projects, we only had 3. We're on up to 5 projects now. These STW and the MBIS added to them, and we borrowed over 90 million. So when Anthony come up with a figure, which mounted to about 10% of the average median home in town, that's worth $300 to $400. That's me. That's my tax bill is $7,000. It was going to add 10%. That's $750. So that's where I get the 800 from. I don't believe, it's not personal, but I just believe that these seniors, I don't want to say shouldn't build a police department or a school, but we've been doing it. I'm in the 80 group now. So we've been paying for all these schools down through the years. And one thing I'll point out too, and it was mentioned at the Guilford meeting. Mr. Hoy is the town selectman there, and he's pretty good at getting a message to the people. Sometimes he'll look right in the camera, and he'll say for the benefit of the residents, so you take note. But they're pretty proud of the fact that they were able to raise that threshold for those people over 20 years. And he says it on camera. They paid their debts years ago. Let's give them a break now. That's why their threshold is that high.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a lot of thoughts in my head, and I don't want to drag it on, but I believe we got to go to 600 by July. And somehow or another we can get to 800. I mean, I could throw some other figures based on 150 participants. If we advertise this a little, we might get more people taking advantage of it. But to me, that what came out of that meeting and what was presented is not acceptable. Because starting next year, I believe it's going to, really start hitting the bonding. That's when a lot of this is going to show up.
Okay.
Bill, I personally think you made some really good points there. It was really good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Bill. I do appreciate it. Is there any, you're all set?
Just any question, anybody? But thank you, otherwise.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other folks that want to come up? All right, seeing none, we had some conversations earlier about this as well. This is obviously vitally important to get right. We have to look at the cost of living increase. Obviously, things have changed over a number of years, and this is something that we want to make sure, some of our most vulnerable citizens, and as you said, Bill, the people that have paid their dues in this town, we need to make sure we get this right. So I don't want to push this without having the proper numbers in front of us. I want to make sure that we look at this right. I think we all agree that we want to make sure that we look at this correctly. What we'd like to do is I'd like to have a motion to have this sent over, work with Dave Ambrose to get these numbers put together, although you've done a tremendous amount of work already, and we thank you for that. Get these numbers sent over to the Finance Subcommittee for review. And then the Finance Subcommittee can get into the nitty-gritty on this and then come back to the council with a recommendation as to what we can do. It's our job to be prudent with, as fiduciaries of this town, with these type of changes. And obviously, again, very important for us to take this into account for our senior population. But it also placates to what we've talked about in past meetings, that we need a plan, we need revenue coming into town, and that revenue is going to come from economic development so that the burden isn't on the taxpayer all the time. And right now, the majority of the burden is on the taxpayer in this town. So we want to make sure, and we haven't spent the dollars in the past to reinvigorate the infrastructure of this town, hence why we're putting a police station and a school and changing roofs, in one fell swoop. It's not the best way to go about things, and it makes big increases in times that may not make the most sense. So I'd like to see that motion for the Finance Subcommittee.
Mr. Chairman, I would recommend you exit the public hearing first. And
Absolutely.
Back at your meeting, have someone add to the agenda to take up this item.
All right, thank you, I appreciate that. So are there any further comments before we move forward with exiting the public hearing?
So do we keep the public hearing open, or do we close it and then we can just discuss it later on?
Yeah.
Yes, the latter. I close the public hearing, and then when you're back on your regular agenda,
Okay.
someone can add this item to the agenda for discussion, vote, referral, your pleasure.
All right, thank you. I need a motion to close, correct? Okay. I'll accept the motion to close public hearing.
I make a motion to close the public hearing at 7:49.
Second. All right, we have a motion, Councilor Angelini, seconded by Deputy Mayor Zampano. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? All right, we are out of the public hearing. I'll accept the motion to change the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to add item 12G, discussion and action on proposed ordinance 2023-1.
Second.
Second.
All right, we have a second by Deputy Mayor Zampano already. I was just writing this down. -1, okay. All right, we have a motion to add item 12G, discussion and action on proposed ordinance 2021-1. And there's a second by Deputy Mayor Zampano. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, thank you very much. Bill, thank you for your time. We appreciate your comments, very much so. Okay, on to
We're on 8.
number 8, community events and presentations. I don't see any, so we are moving forward to item 9, citizen statements, petitions, and correspondence. Are there any citizen statements, petitions, or correspondence? Seeing none, we're on to item 10, resignations and appointments. Item A, appointment of Susan DeSilver, Democrat, as an alternate to the Solid and Hazardous Waste Recycling Committee, term to expire 12/31/24.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Diamond, second by Deputy Mayor Zampano. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? All right, that passes. Thank you, Ms. DeSilver. Appreciate your involvement in the community. Item B, reappointment of Donna Persley, Democrat, the Solid and Hazardous Waste Recycling Committee, term to expire 12/31/2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Deputy Mayor Zampano. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? And thank you, Ms. Persley, for your work with the town. Item C, reappointment of Melinda Fonda, Democrat, to the Zoning Board of Appeals, term to expire 12/31/2025.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Counselor Abelson. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained? Thank you, and again, thank you, Ms. Fonda, for your efforts in the town. And again, item D, reappointment of William, and I don't want to mess up the last name, Galdenzi, is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yeah.
William Galdenzi, Democrat, to the Planning and Zoning Commission, term to expire 5/31/2025.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Deputy Mayor Zampano. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained? All right, that passes. Thank you, Mr. Galdenzi, for your time as well. All right, on to item 11, unfinished business, discussion and action. I see none. Moving on to item 12, new business, discussion and action. Item A, discussion and action of proposed ordinance adjusting department bid thresholds.
Mr. Mayor, just to recap, this is coming to you tonight out of our January 10th Finance Subcommittee meeting. The consensus was reached at the Finance Committee to send this to the Town Council for a change of the bid thresholds associated with all town departments other than Public Works, to adjust it from $7,500 for town departments to $7,500 to $15,000 threshold before having to go to a sealed bid process. And in your packets also is the proposed ordinance 23-2, which makes that one minor change you can see in section 84-13, changing the 7,500 to 10,000.
So I'd like to make a motion that we move this to a public hearing to be set for 7:30 PM on Tuesday, February 21st, 2023, for a proposed amendment to 84-13 of the Code of the Town of North Branford, adjusting the established bid threshold for all town departments from the current $7,500 or more threshold to a $10,000 or more threshold, keeping the established Department of Public Works bid threshold at the current $15,000.
All right, motion by Counselor Angeloni, second by Counselor Abelson. Thank you, I couldn't hear it over there. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mays.
Kind of confused why we're doing 75 or more to a $10,000 or more, when I thought when we originally discussed this, we were just going to move those departments from 7,500 to 10,000.
Well, that's what that's doing.
Yeah.
Okay, I think, I could be wrong, I think, when you say move it to a $10,000 or more threshold, then you're not limiting it to $10,000. You're limiting it to $10,000 or more, so they can come in and they can request 15,000 because you got the or more. I'd rather see it with 7,500 to the 10,000, leaving Frimarola's department with the 15,000. I
it's
just
for the
think the
purpose
or
of-
more opens the door.
Meaning
for-
10,000 or more means 10,000 or more is what you'd have to go out to a bid for.
Yeah.
If,
The verbiage is confusing, I understand, but it's 10,000
I'm
is
sorry,
the
I
point.
read it different.
Yeah, I can see where that could be a little
if
confusing.
it's 10,000 or greater, you have to go out to
Your
bid.
threshold is
Right.
$10,999.99, $9,999.99. That's your threshold, hits 10,000, you have to go out to bid.
Okay,
Or
but it
more.
doesn't say that if it's $10,000 or more, that's what the bid. It just says a threshold of $10,000 or more, and then there's a period, so that ends the thought.
How would you like to reword this, and we can see if that would be accepted by the person who made the motion?
Well, it doesn't matter, it's a public
Yeah,
hearing,
correct.
so the language would get changed.
Changed anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
If there's a question, but
The language only in the proposed ordinance would be the changing of the one number
Right.
in the section from 7,500 to 10,000. So there's exactly,
Not added to the
Yeah.
proposed ordinance.
That's what I
Yeah,
would rather
it's
see.
already-
without the or more,
it
not
says
add
that
the proposed
already
amendment.
That's
in,
just
the
proposed.
or more says it already in the ordinance.
All right, so if that's clarified at the,
yeah,
Yeah, the public
yeah.
hearing.
I'm more comfortable with that
Okay.
without the or more. Okay.
That's fair. Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? All right, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. On to item B, approval of fiscal year 2023, 2024 budget schedule.
Okay, so the first item on here is, it has Tuesday, March 14th, our regular town council meeting, which I believe is incorrect, because our
But I
first.
think we got it in our packet, I just noticed. it.
Yeah, looking at our packet, the change.
Yeah,
It was the original, I think they
I just
amended
noticed
that.
that in the papers. Because the
Packet,
March 7th is our
This is
regular
March
meeting,
7th.
not the 14th.
right. Okay, so that's fine, so we'll, let me see,
I'm probably just not seeing it. You might? I don't think it's in here.
I don't know, let me see.
It was in
It's
there.
somewhere, I think it's kind of
Oh,
stuck to something.
Here, yes, it's
I don't
12.
have it. We'll share
Okay.
it.
It's in yellow.
Okay, right. So it's already, so I'll go by the one that was at our desk. So the public hearing is at our meeting on April 4th, and then it has budget deliberations for Thursday, 2 days after. And I know last year we canceled that one only because of the fact that if we request information based on the public hearing on the 4th, the 6th is kind of early to get that.
I
I
agree.
would rather go to cancel the April 6th, keep the April 12th the following week. So we have time to review the budget, submit our request, and they have time to prepare the information for the April 12th meeting, and then we have April 18th to finalize
Yeah.
after that.
That's,
last year, we can do it.
all right, so
So.
reiterate that again, please.
So
we can have it
on
correct.
the town council budget that was in our packet tonight, it has March 7th is when we get the original budget.
Correct.
Then we have operational and capital budget workshops on the 21st of March, which that is our council meeting that night. That would be our second council meeting, so we couldn't have those times, because that's a council meeting. So we would have to do those on the 14th, keep our council meeting for the 21st,
Yep.
and then the other ones on the 28th. So we would be meeting 4 Tuesdays in March.
Our
I can't do
spouses
that
will love that.
14th.
I mean, that's what we did last year, I know, when we did the department meetings. The only thing
Yeah.
would be is if we had, or keep them on the 21st, we just have to start them earlier, because we have council at 7.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we can,
So it's up to the council what you want to do.
our goal is to get this to be more concise than we've had it in the past. So we don't want this to be elongated more than it needs to be. But we also don't want to cut corners where we want to make sure that each department has time to delineate what they need to. I think it's easier to cancel something than it is to add. So we can keep the 4 in March, and we'll just have a party every Tuesday. And then if we see that we can combine, I'm pretty sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, town attorney, can we change things if we need to, pretty simply, Mike? And combine?
Well, I mean, if you noticed that you're doing a particular department on that night, you can't modify it to add a different department. The
Yeah.
public needs to be noticed as to what's
You need
being heard
reg-
that night.
Yeah.
Are we just moving the 21st to the 14th?
Correct.
Is that a
Or
problem?
we can do one long meeting on the 14th.
No.
Moving it down
I know it might be too,
to April.
Yeah, I don't think we should.
April 14th.
What?
I mean, I don't think we should do those three on a.
On the 21st?
Yeah,
Because we'd have to start at like 5:30.
right,
And we all know that they're not a half an hour.
no,
right. It's-
no, but we're gonna have some semblance of time on this.
Right,
You know,
but
we're
I
gonna-
mean-
We're not gonna just talk and talk and talk. We're going to put a time limit and.
Well,
make
that's
this
fine,
concise.
so instead of Tuesday, March 21st for those 3 departments, it would be Tuesday, March 14th.
Okay, yeah, it was council
Yeah,
meeting.
so the 21st is a regular meeting. Okay, Tuesday, March 1st, reg meeting. All right, and we could technically, if we didn't want to have that extra date, which I have no problem with that extra date, but if we didn't want to, we could add 2 to the end of the 21st meeting and 1 to the end of the 28th. But I'm apt to say that we just do the 4 meetings as stipulated.
Can we just move it up to 6 o'clock instead of 7? If we're doing the 14th and also the 28th, can we move it up to 6?
It doesn't matter, yeah, we
Yeah.
can, this
I
is
mean,
our
if
time,
everybody's
this is
available.
our time to set the schedule.
Do we want to have a free Tuesday in March, essentially? If we want to do that, we take 1 or 2 of them and we place it on the 21st within our regularly scheduled meeting. And we take the other one and we add it to the 28th.
No, because it's gonna go over, probably gonna go over. That's gonna blow us out of the water.
Oh.
Even if we do it at 6 o'clock.
Well, if we did the 21st and we added 1, I would add library
Yeah.
and
This is what I
start
would
it, I would start it at 6:15 for the workshop, and then 7 is our meeting. And then add police and fire to the 28th, but we start at 6. And if you wanna, then you have 1 free.
Can't anything to the 7th, can we?
Well, we're just getting the budget that night.
Yeah, I know, it's the day we get
So
it.
it's tough, but it's just
Yeah.
a workshop, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming they're gonna have this stuff done, if we can hear it out.
So if you wanted to, well, if you wanted to add 1 to that meeting, then I would,
I don't feel comfortable putting police and fire.
no, I would put library on.
No, but I'm saying even adding them to the board, Parks and Rec and Public Works, I wanna make sure that we're giving, everyone due time.
Does it have to be on a Tuesday? Can we do it after, like, Wednesday, the 22nd?
We can do it,
For-
it's the consensus of the
So we
council.
don't have to sit there.
It's our schedule,
Right.
so we can
just-
do what we need to do, but
Just throwing it out there, I mean,
Wednesdays
this
are
way we're
not,
not killing our Tuesday.
there's a lot of Wednesday other meetings, because Tuesday are typically council, so I'd like to keep it, for now, I'd rather have a Tuesday that we generally schedule than encumber another week during the week, because we have other meetings that come up. I want people to miss anything. I'm for the 4 Tuesdays and just,
So you're gonna have one on the 14th? Well, I just hope that you don't put the police on that, since I'm the liaison for that department,
Vinny has his hand up.
oh, good, I'm sorry, I didn't see you, I apologize.
Just so that I could just break it down
Thank
for
you.
myself simply.
Mhm.
So, March 7th is the regular town meeting.
Correct, first Tuesday of the month.
March 14th is an off night that we're gonna do the budget. March 21st is another regular town council meeting.
Correct,
And then March 28th is an off night where we're gonna do other departments.
correct.
So all we have to do is March 14th and March 28th is fill in which departments you want to discuss. And from what I gather here, we have 6: police, fire, library, Board of Ed, Parks and Rec, and Public Works.
Correct.
So we would just have to fill in March 14th and March 28th, what departments you want to discuss, 3 each night, and then we'll be done with it.
But yeah, that's what we're saying.
That would just
It's just a matter of,
simplify it.
it's our schedule to fix, do we want to encumber? I'd rather encumber Tuesdays that we're used to being here.
Yeah,
It's easier, candidly personally, it's easier for me to plan around it, because I'm used to a Tuesday in this office where each of us have different committees that have to be in other times of the week, and some of us also have other work commitments that are difficult to work around.
okay,
I'm
so,
okay with Tuesdays.
so Marie is liaison to police, and she can't make the 14th. And I know Park and Rec meets on the 4th Tuesday of the month, so let's switch police and Park and Rec. Does
Okay.
that work for you, Marie?
Okay, as long as I would like to be here for the police, yes.
Okay,
So the police will be 28th,
right.
Park and Rec will be
The 14th.
the 14th.
Yes.
I actually like that better anyway.
And so the other question becomes, that Bruce brought up, is do we want to start it at 6 o'clock? Or do we want,
Again, I'm gonna,
Or 6:30?
my goal, and we've talked about this, we want this to be concise. I like that everything's gotten better, and we've embraced technology. I would hope that we continue to embrace technology, have, PowerPoints, have your presentation for your department put together and ready to get done within, a half hour. I think that's a good period of time for a meeting. I think it's fair. And the department heads that are here, shake your head if you agree. All right, good. Thank you. I think you start to lose people after that naturally, right?
But what do you
So-
think, is 6 good?
6
I-
or 6:30?
I'm fine.
An early start, right? 'Cause we always
I'm
end up
fine
here
with
late.
6
Let's get an early
and,
start.
get it going and then not be here late.
That works better for me.
6 is okay for you?
There's Zampano time, and then there's council time,
Well,
so
well,
we
no,
just need.
no. We said 5:30, right?
Yeah.
So we all get, I actually I'm part of Zampano time as well, so I'll schedule 5:30. I can't throw it under the bus, I'm just as bad.
So do we
Okay,
want-
so
do we
6
want-
o'clock.
We want to start at 6 in every half hour?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. 6, give ourselves 5 minutes in between, so we're not, we get a glass of water, a vodka, something else, whatever we may need.
So we're gonna start at 6 only on the 14th, only on the, 21st
Yeah,
and 28th.
only on the budget, on the
14th and
operational
28th.
calculations.
On the
So we're gonna
budget.
do 6 o'clock on the 6
The
PM,
14th.
on the 14th, 6 PM on the 28th. All right, and then let's talk about, because we're gonna talk about this, the public hearing. We have various places that we can do this. We've had
Right.
discussions of doing it at the auditorium. We've done it in the intermediate school cafeteria. We have talked about doing it here in the chamber. Let's get that out in the open now. Where do we want to do that? And let's get it scheduled.
The high school's open, let's do it in high school.
Well, the high school doesn't have any other,
That's too tough
Yeah,
to
to-
schedule right now.
I just.
yeah, I don't know where.
We could,
we could
in
do the
their
cafeteria.
new cafeteria space, the way it's set up, but I don't want to be tied into, because it's an unknown right
Well, I
now.
mean,
But that would be a good
It's
space
not a
to
bad
do it.
idea, to be honest with you, to have kind of our first meeting there,
But we can always,
If it's available.
we can
they
always
already left.
change the location, can't we?
Yeah.
Is that Dave?
We might all get.
As we
dusty.
get closer to, if we know, if they're in there in the middle of March,
Well, it's the cafeteria.
Well, if we're doing it,
The health department approved it, so.
I'm hoping that we'll be there by, it's the 4th of April.
April 4th.
I think we can, it's not a bad idea to have it showcased as a new space. We're gonna use NBIS, we might as well use.
which is the cafeteria.
Which is the
when it-
cafeteria,
When we
yeah.
use NBIS.
The media room is nice, or the media area where they're calling it. I think that's a good idea. So why don't we preemptively plan for the new high school to have this public meeting? And then we'll have the backup as NBIS if need be. Is that fair? Council shake the heads, yes? Good?
It's just an idea.
Okay, I like that idea. It's a good way to start to use it. And there's no pressure. If it's not ready, we'll go to NBIS. Or we can always look at the chamber as well. We don't use the auditorium because it's too difficult to,
Well, it's difficult to hear in NBIS
Yeah,
too,
that's
so
yeah.
doesn't matter.
Okay,
And then so on this schedule, we're also deleting April 6th.
yeah, deleting April 6th. There's not enough turnaround time.
And Michelle, you got the note of switching Park and Rec to the 14th and Police to
We
the
have to
28th
possibly
on the schedule?
The 12th
That
as
was-
well. if need be,
Okay.
right? Okay, I think that's pretty fair. Department heads, use your best technology, get your PowerPoint skills, up to par, and plan for a half-hour concise conversation. We appreciate it. Okay. All right.
So do we need a motion to adopt this?
I think we do
or
need a motion to adopt it. Correct, Brian? Okay,
Okay.
I will accept the motion, please.
So I make a motion to adopt with the changes noted.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion by Counselor Angeloni, seconded by Counselor Counselor Abelson. Bruce, you gotta talk a little louder today, I can't hear
Second. I
it. There we go.
second.
You're normally nice and vocal. Today you're a little quiet on your second.
Just reflect.
There you go, I like that. I don't know, I might regret what I'm asking for. Okay.
Actually, everything's all good.
Good, all right, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained?
I'm abstaining.
Okay, thank you. All right. Confirmation, all right, so we're on item C, confirmation appointment of Carly Lemire as Assistant Library Director. Lauren, how are you tonight?
Really good.
Come join us and tell us about the Assistant Library Director, please.
So we had a great pool of candidates that applied for the Assistant Library Director position. Carly Lemire, who is currently the head of youth services at the Branford Blackstone Library, stood out for her knowledge of library practices and principles, her professionalism, her understanding of today's library service and the importance of a library's connection to the community it serves. She's clearly qualified with her combined years of experience and her education. I think what really impressed me and the other members of the interview panel was her shared vision of creating a warm, welcoming, friendly library environment that provides free access to information, education, learning, entertainment for everyone. So I was really impressed with her, and I hope that you all agree with that. She's just a natural manager, motivates, supports the library work of others, can correct deficiencies if she sees them. I cannot say enough, honestly, of this candidate.
That's great. It's great when you find a good fit.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Having the right person makes this more enthusiastic.
Yeah, definitely need good people. Okay. All right, so I believe we need a motion
So moved.
to appoint. All right, motion by
Well,
Counselor
there's a
Goode.
there's a
I'm sorry.
proposed motion.
There is a
in there
proposed
that-
motion
that I
in
think
our
you're-
packet, I believe.
It's on page 19.
Thank you.
So are you moving the motion as proposed?
As proposed. How's that?
I'll second.
Has not hindered the process. Very well done. Okay, so we have a motion strategically placed by Counselor Goode and seconded by Counselor Angeloni. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained? All right, we're looking forward to having Carly join our team here in North Branford. Thank you very much. All right, item D, memo for Recreation Commission recommending appointing John Onofrio, Vice Chair, Jesse Sultano, and/or Carrie Hayes of Park and Recreations to the Permanent Projects Building Committee for the STW Center Project. Do
So,
they know what they're getting themselves into?
yes.
It's a long meeting.
Well, they're only there for the STW roof project and whatever else
That's good, that's
moves
great.
over
No one's
there.
just there for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all they have to be there for?
You'll learn,
Is that,
I'll tell you that.
is that section of it? And the
Enjoy your
reason,
Mondays.
so the reason they have either Jesse or Carrie is so that they can split it. Only one of them will be at the meeting because they can only have 2 spots on the Permanent Project Building Committee as the ordinance reads for that
Yeah.
commission. So by naming both of them, one or the other will attend.
As alternate, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
on there. There will never be more than 2 members, one from the commission and one from the department at the meeting. So I would like to make a motion to appoint John Onofrio from the Park and Rec Commission and Director Jesse Catano or Assistant Director Carrie Haynes to the Permanent Project Building Committee for the STW Center Project.
Second.
Okay, my motion by Counselor Angeloni, second by Counselor Abelson. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained? Okay, thank you. We appreciate them joining that committee. We'll enjoy that. Let's see where the money goes and how we're building it. Okay, on to item E, discussion and approval of bid specifications for RFP number 923001, commissioning agent for NBPD.
What is that?
The commissioning agent?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
Yeah.
please explain.
It is, we got a synopsis here.
I don't remember doing this for the high school. I remember we just did a clerk of
Well,
the works.
we did, it's another way to have a, you know, a set of boots on the ground, I
But
guess.
I thought we
have a-
appointed a clerk of the works,
Right.
We
Yes, we
appointed
did.
I believe we appointed a
which
clerk
is
of works.
our,
Tom
So
was
I'm
appointed as
confused
clerk
why
of
we're
works.
doing this.
Do you have some information on this, Mike, as to what they're looking for?
Actually, I thought you guys from the Permanent Project Building Committee were here for that.
Yeah.
So if nobody knows what it is, do we need it?
Yeah, no, we're not gonna vote on this unless we have a better idea of what it is.
Also, but that draft thing across there, that was really hard to read this thing.
Yeah.
Table that?
Yeah, I would suggest we table this. We don't know what it is. I thought it was for Tom,
Again,
Which
I
we
thought
opposed-
we did
which
hire
we
him.
already
we
appointed him.
appointed. Until we have a better idea of what that is, we're not gonna touch this.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I will make a motion to table item E.
So moved.
All right, motion by Counselor Diamond. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor Zampano. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Thank you. All right, not that we don't want to work on these things and get them done, but we need to have some intel on them. So we will come back to that on our next meeting. All right, item F, approval of Silktown Roofing for the roof replacement of STWCC project base bid only of $1,438,000. Want to make sure that we have a motion for that.
I'd
Ryan,
like
has
to,
that been looked over?
yes, this has been, this is from the building committee also. They've already looked at this,
I'm
and
gonna-
this is their recommendation.
Right.
Yeah, I have a discussion, but why don't, do we have a second or motion yet?
I'll make a motion to approve the bid from Silktown Roofing for the STW Community Center roof at the base bid of $1,438,000.
Second.
A motion by Councilor Angeloni, second by Deputy Mayor Zampano. Okay, not to denounce what's been done here, but I want to make sure that I understand this. There was a, I don't know, a whisper that it was possible they wanted to look at a different roof. So this is the flat roof, correct? Not the facade?
So they did an add alternate in the bid
They did that.
for a pitched roof, like that's on TDES in the sections of the building where a pitched roof could go.
Would make sense, okay.
So it went like TDS, they could not do a pitched roof on the whole building.
Yeah.
So they did it in the sections that they could.
Okay,
And at the time, that was done a number of years ago. The council at that time approved it was about $400,000 to do the standing seam roof in the sections that they could.
okay,
So they did that as an add alternate when they went out to bid for
Okay.
the Stanley T. Williams roof. Now, for the sections that could be done, that part of it came in at over $700,000.
okay.
So that's why they're recommending the Permanent Project Building Committee.
Yeah.
And also, Tom Hibbert was the architect, and I believe he was the architect also for for Totucket Valley.
Remind me, there was no ARPA money set aside for this particular project, correct?
Correct.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
So this is the project that we received $1.6 million from the state through our state rep, Vinnie Candelora.
Yes,
So $1.6 million of the cost of this project is being funded by the state.
okay, great.
On there. We do
If that's
have
what it was, it
some
was the-
additional money in our budget for, in our CIP for any, if the cost went over.
Correct.
Or anything like that.
Okay,
So when the costs came in and the bids came in and the standing seam roof was, the add alternate was so expensive, the building committee felt that it was too expensive and not worth the money to spend over half of the cost of the flat roof. So it will be a new roof, but it'll be replaced exactly the way it looks now
Okay.
on there. So that's why they recommended to go with that.
Okay,
Thank you, Rose.
thank you very much, I appreciate that. Okay, any other discussion? I wanted to make sure I asked those questions. All right, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? All right, thank you. And again, I thank the Permanent Project Building Committee for all they're doing to get these projects, in motion. It's a lot of work. It's good work for the town. It's important work for the town. So I congratulate them for the efforts that they're making. Thank you. Okay, on to item 13, citizen statements and
No,
I'm
we
sorry.
got it,
I forgot.
12G.
We have 12G. I wrote it in. All right, 12G, discussion and action in the proposed 2021-1 ordinance. To move it to the to the Finance Committee.
I will make the motion, so, since I'm not on the finance committee, I'll make the motion to move it to the finance committee.
All right, thank you. Do we need to further that, that motion? Is it fine with what we said?
Yeah, for this matter,
Yeah.
proposed ordinance 2023-1.
Okay. All right, we have a motion by Counselor Diamond,
Second?
second by Counselor Angeloni. Any discussion?
I think part of the reason is because we just got the grand list information tonight, which
Correct.
we haven't had time to
look at.
review. And so I would like, if you can put on the agenda to have Dave Ambrose come to the Finance Committee meeting, which is in 2 weeks on the 21st, prior to our council meeting. It's normally the second Tuesday, but next week is Valentine's Day, and we opted not to meet that night. And
Yeah.
we're doing it on the 21st prior to council meeting. So if we can have Dave there, and have this as part of this. And then we also have this information that Bill Savasano brought us on other towns.
Yeah.
So we have not had a chance to review that information. And Dave, if you could just get some clarity on the information from Guilford. I mean, it's written on here, but I'm not exactly sure how all of this works on there.
Yeah, if you can reach out to Matt or Mr. Hui, that'd be helpful. And I'm assuming you can likewise maybe reach out to folks at North Haven, folks in Branford as well. All right, thank you. I appreciate you doing that. Again, we want to get this right, so this is important to do right and not just kind of take a shot in the dark. Okay, I appreciate that. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? And that passes. All right, thank you. All right, on to item 13, citizen statements and petitions. Do we have any? Mr. Savastano, how are you, sir?
Bill Savastano, thank you. 43 Sunnyside Drive. Reference to the ARPA meeting I had was very productive. And I was glad to see it was on TV. For years I've been advocating more of our meetings to be on TV. But thank you for that. As far as what you accomplished on that meeting, I'm all for infrastructure. The $1 million for the roads and bridges is a no-brainer. Just wonder how far $1 million can go with that stuff. It may not be far. And even the fiber is sort of a no-brainer because you're getting reimbursed or you're saving money on other ends. But I'm really big in what I'm concerned with what you spend for the rest of the money. I'm big on emergency preparedness. I don't know, maybe it's my old age starting to worry about everything because I can't do the things I used to do. So I just want you to think about, is there anything in town that we need along those lines? I remember a couple of years ago, in one of the hurricanes or tornadoes, we had no power in this building. And then we talked about putting a generator in there. Is there a generator?
No.
No. And I heard it was going to be pretty substantial to put it in, if I'm right or wrong. Now's our chance to do it with the ARPA money. Let's get that in there. And the other, in reference to the ARPA money, we've already put $250,000, I believe, towards Tower 1. And if I'm remembering correct, it's on a lease agreement, and you got 5 more payments at over 200,000 each year, coming out of contingency. That means the $1 million contingency you start off the year with for emergencies or whatever, you're already into the next 4 years to pay off the fire engine.
It's not coming out of contingency.
It's not?
It doesn't come out of contingency, no. It's part of our CIP budget.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, I was wrong, but still, what I'm advocating, you got the ARPA money, pay the fire engine off. Because if I remember from a few meetings back, they're gonna be talking about another engine right after that, so. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time. Any other citizen statements? Petitions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
No, hold on.
Oh.
I'd like to bring up a motion for discussion. In front of you, is a town study that was done in 2019. We had talked about in the ARPA funds.
You want to bring up a motion? You have to, in order to talk about it, you have to put it on
I
the
want to
agenda.
bring up a motion for a discussion for the money that we've approved for a study. Just to discuss.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Okay. Do you have a second?
Do you want to amend the agenda to add this?
You want to amend the agenda, add the motion?
I'd like to amend the agenda to add the motion for
You want
discussion.
to amend the agenda to add the following: discussion
Of ARPA funds that were that we've just approved for a plan, quote, for a study, for the town. It's come, that's my motion.
Okay, that's your motion. Do we have a second on that motion?
I say there's a point of order. If we already had an ARPA meeting and we already approved it, he's out of order at this point in time. We would have to have another workshop to.
Well, it's a discussion, not an
that.
action, but it only takes place if there's a second.
Or can we add it to the next agenda?
Likely more
On the
appropriate to the
21st,
next agenda
if you
as a
wanna-
discussion.
Really talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'd like to, before we distribute.
All right, so then if there's no second, which I see there's not, I would suggest that you bring that to Michael and Gina for an agenda item that will be reviewed and then approved to be on the next meeting. Does that suffice?
I will bring it to Michael and Jean
Okay,
for our next meeting,
All right.
for a discussion.
thank you, Bruce, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion for a adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Angelini, seconded by Counselor Diamond. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Thank you very much. Have a great evening.